What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, if you guys have Twitter and you've been on it, you might know this. The streets are talking, everybody's buzzing. Like I said, go to Twitter. Everybody's talking about a potential matchup between Keith, one-time Thurman, Marcos El Chino Maidana. And the reason being is if you go on BoxRec, they have it listed as a potential fight for September. Now, I just made a video about Mayweather. It doesn't look like he's going to hit a million with his Marcos Maidana fight. His next fight, no matter who the opponent is, if Chino and Keith Thurman fight, I guarantee, and again, I'll do the gift card thing. Every time I'm this sure of a prediction, we'll do the gift card. I'll give you all a Starbucks gift card, Baskin Robbins, McDonald's, whatever the fuck y'all want to eat. I guarantee if Mayweather fights as the main event and you put Marcos Maidana and Keith Thurman on the undercard, it'll do over a million. You can have all the streaming websites that you want. This is a great friendly fight. People are going to want to watch this. So mark my word for it. If they have Mayweather versus X, Y, and Z, and then they have Maidana and Keith Thurman on the undercard, it'll hit over a million. Trust me. That's a great fight. I like it. I've talked about in the past. If you guys are longtime boxing followers, you'll know this fight was already on the books before Keith Thurman really even had a name. They were already scheduled to fight. Marcos Maidana had to pull out. I forgot exactly why. I have to refresh my memory. I think it might have been a shoulder injury or something like that. He got hurt in training camp. But this was already set in stone, and it was a scheduled fight. And for some reason, Team Maidana pulled out. Money or something. I have to do my research again. If you guys know, leave a comment. But this was a fight that was already supposed to take place, and this was like 4 fights ago for Keith Thurman. He's fought Diego Chavez since, Jesus Autocaras, Julio Diaz. This was like a couple fights. It was before all of that. I like the fight a lot. Some people are like, wait, Marcos Maidana did good against Mayweather. You know what? This is just my opinion, ego thoughts. Fuck Mayweather and Maidana Part 2. Now, if they make it, I have no problems with it. Maidana made it more competitive than a lot of people thought it was going to be. But personally, I don't want to see Mayweather, his remaining 3 fights, like on a recycled rematch where I feel the outcome of the second one is probably going to be different. I think if Maidana had any chance of beating Floyd Mayweather, it was the first fight. You know what I mean? But Mayweather, he's the master of adapting. Now, once you already put him in there and he already got a feel for how Maidana's going to potentially fight, plus they're not going to have Tony Weeks ref it again, then I think it's going to be a completely different fight. It's not going to be the same fight. He's going to come in expecting all the dirty tactics, plus they're going to have someone who's going to do a better job officiating it and minimizing and stopping some of the dirty stuff from both fighters, the elbows and the biting and tackling and all that. So it's going to be a different fight. And honestly, like I said, if Maidana had a chance to beat Mayweather, in my opinion, it was in that first fight because he was the wild card. We know he has the devastating power, and that's that. Some people can argue, oh, but he didn't get to wear his gloves. If he wears his gloves in the second time, I don't think that'll help. Like I said, Floyd Mayweather is probably one of the best people at adapting, and he does this in fight. I've seen him do it from round 5 to round 6 or whatever round. I've seen him do it in between rounds. So you mean to tell me if Maidana and Mayweather fight again that Maidana is going to have just as successful of performance? Plus, Floyd told you before the fight how he's going to fight. He said it's going to be a different fight than a lot of people think. I'm not going to do a lot of movement, and he didn't do it. Some people are still under the impression that Maidana forced it. But either way, I just see the second one, Mayweather fighting more typical measured type of fight. Like if you look at Timothy Bradley, how he fought Ruslan Provodnikov, you're like, damn. And then the very next fight, Bradley being smart, what did he do? He knew he was in against a legend like Juan Manuel Marquez, and Marquez would capitalize on that bullshit if he tried to fight with a chip on his shoulder like he did in the previous fight with Ruslan. So he fought a smarter fight, and he looked very good in doing it. So I really think, honestly, Maidana versus Mayweather is a waste, just because I think if Maidana had a chance to beat him, it was in that first fight when he was unexpected, because probably didn't know much about him. He was the wild card. But now going into it, different ref and all that, I think it's a waste of one of Mayweather's remaining fights. Back to Keith Thurman and Marcos Maidana. Hell of a fight. Now, in recent memory, the toughest fight that I could recall Keith Thurman being in was in against another Argentine, and that was against Diego Chavez. Diego Chavez came to box, which Marcos Maidana has been improving on his boxing fundamentals. He's been using his jab better. Even Mayweather said post-fight, his jab was better than I expected. And we know that he has power. I don't know who hits harder because it looked like Diego Chavez could crack too. But I would say just experience-wise, Marcos Maidana might hit harder than Diego Chavez. Never been punched by both guys. We know one thing about these fighters from Argentina. They are tough as a motherfucker. Luis Carlos Abregu, tough. You look at Sergio Martinez, rocked in the 12th round, didn't even hold, didn't even clinch, just went out like either I'm going to go out on my shield and get knocked out or I'm going to keep banging. And that's what he did against Chavez Jr. when he was desperately hurt. These guys are tough, so it's a good test. And one thing I like about Keith Thurman is I see that progress. He was knocking everyone out, and then he had the Jan Zibic fight, and he had to go the distance. He just had a guy who was tough, and he couldn't chop down that tree. So that's good to go some rounds to see that his stamina looked okay and looked good. The Diego Chavez, he was brawling, and he wasn't winning all those rounds when he was trying to brawl with Diego Chavez, so he had to assess his game plan and make some adjustments. I love seeing that. And we've seen the adjustments that Marcos Maidana has made in terms of Devin Alexander looked horrible his first fight at welterweight to every other welterweight performance. He's looked like a new fighter. He's using a jab better. His stamina looks better in terms of the volume of punches. If you watch the Amir Khan and Marcos Maidana fight, he looked gassed when he had Khan severely hurt. He just looked like he didn't have nothing in it. So his conditioning looks better. Great fight. Keith Thurman, Marcos Maidana. It would definitely do over $1 million if it's the undercard of a Mayweather fight. Like I said, some of you guys might want to see the Mayweather-Maidana Part 2. I have no problems if the fight is made. The first one was competitive, but I think it was competitive for a couple of different reasons that I've kind of mentioned in this video. And I see the second one not being as close. So I'd rather see Keith Thurman and Maidana like they were scheduled to fight years ago because I was really looking forward to that. And I think the timing's even better. Keith Thurman, a lot of people are questioning his chin. He fought Jesus Soto Caras, got caught in the first round, weathered the storm. But we know he has devastating punching power. He hasn't won a lot of rounds. Now you're going to be in there against someone who's equally lethal with his punch, improving as a boxer. And we know he's not going to just back down per se. He's going to, you're going to have to beat him into submission, a guy like Marcos Maidana. Great fight all the way around. Hopefully it's made. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is made because it's all about the numbers game. Marcos Maidana and Mayweather didn't do as good as projected. Showtime's going to be looking to have a big fight like Canelo and Mayweather with the Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse, so they can kind of recoup some of the money they're losing from these pay-per-views that Mayweather's had that haven't really hit over $1 million besides the Canelo and or drastically over $1 million. So let me know what you guys think. Keith Thurman versus Marcos Maidana. Hopefully it gets done. Leave a comment. Let me know who you think would win and why. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.